see in athletics?
My family had a big role in it. My dad was a professional basketball coach with the New York Knicks and signed the first African-American player in the NBA. The reaction, the negative reaction from the public that I witnessed certainly set a tone in our household. We talked about civil rights, we talked about race. My sister moved to Africa in 1961, and I began reading about Africa and fell in love with the continent and became eventually the head of the anti-apartheid movement in sports in this country. And I got literally my earliest memory as a child was looking outside my bedroom window in Yonkers, which is where I was raised, and seeing his image swinging from a tree with people under the tree picketing. And for several years after that, I'd pick up the extension phone in our home, my dad not knowing I was listening, and it was nigger lover, nigger lover, nigger lover. And again, I didn't know what any of that meant as a 5, 6-year-old, but I knew a lot of people didn't like my best friend in the world. So I, kind of internalized it until we had a chance to talk about it, and I began to understand that it was because he had signed Nat Sweetwater Clifton as the first player in the African-American player in the NBA. Well, I wrote my doctoral dissertation on how South Africa used sport as part of its foreign policy and the international response, and it later became published as a book, and I got involved in speaking dates, and there was really not much of an anti-apartheid movement in this country at the time. It was much bigger in Europe and New Zealand, Australia, but the first South African team was coming, and we decided we'd pull together a coalition to try to get it stopped. And this was 1978. It was a Davis Cup team playing in Nashville, Tennessee. And as a consequence of my going down there to try to organize the protest and actually get them canceled, I came to Virginia, where I was working at the time, was working late in my college office the night after that I was in Nashville, and hearing a knock on the door expecting it to be campus security. Instead, it was 2 men wearing stocking masks who proceeded to cause liver damage, kidney damage, a hernia, concussion, carved nigger in my stomach with a pair of office scissors.